In a world where the marks think they know better than the wrestlers and the bookers, the Fantasy Booking Institute exists to pretty much do exactly that. This is a visit from the FBI.
This is Dan the Dad, and you should listen to Raw and Order or you're grounded.
Welcome back to another episode of Raw and Order, the Fantasy Booking Institute, the only wrestling podcast on the planet that starts at over 40 minutes late because we got distracted by stuff. ADD, it's a thing, people. I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I'm joined this time only by my co-host from up north, RCMP What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey. I'm good, boss. I am good. Cannot complain. Yeah, we both had ADD there, but, you know, it was worthwhile, and we do hope everyone who usually listens to us at 10:30 or 11:30 is still around, because we got some wrestling fantasy bookings to book, and I'm ready.
Yes. If you are new to the Fantasy Booking Institute, the rules are very simple. We're going to take turns challenging each other to book some unknown and usually unlikely scenario in the world of professional wrestling. We don't discuss them in advance because we think it's more fun, but also because we don't think them up in advance because we're like that.
We are.
No DA Fabe this week. He mentioned before he's on vacation. Took his family out to go have some fun without us. Didn't invite me. I'm not jealous or anything. But
I feel the jealousy vibes all the way from here. That's a lot of jealousy there.
I have caramel corn.
Oh, fair enough. That's it. Eat your feelings out. It's fine.
He can't eat this.
Oh my god, you're so petty.
But so because no DA Fabe, though, we will not be playing Guess the Wrestler because
Kind of hard to do with only two people.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
I will give you a heads up, though. I am going to make a change for the next time we do Guess the Wrestler.
Oh?
A small but I think important change.
Okay.
That I think will even the floor a little bit.
Because I suck so much at it?
Only 60 seconds of guessing at a time instead of 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right. That works, and we can really go back and forth, do a lot more guesses, too, on top of that. So that actually makes your job a little bit harder.
Yep, makes my job a little harder, but it also picks up the pace a bit, I think. And then it means a person will have less time to stumble around and, you know, guess a bunch of different people in one area first. You know what I mean?
Right, that's valid. And honestly, because you're also timed by only 60 seconds, you might actually just start spewing out a bunch more questions quicker too. Because you have too much time to think with 2 minutes, maybe that who knows, that might just change the whole landscape of the game. That extra only giving 1 minute. Nice. Good call.
Yep. I think it'll be fun. Because you won't be able to like, let me think. What have we not asked yet?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, pick it up. Do it.
That's fair. That'll be cool.
And you won't be able to be like HBK, X-Pac, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg.
Oh, does he have blonde hair?
Right. He's in the Attitude Era. Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Kane. No, you can't just shotgun guesses. You've got to do something to limit it down before you can shotgun. That's my thought. So that gives you a heads up, a little bit of foreknowledge that he's not going to have.
Hey, perfect.
I know for a fact he's not watching or listening to this on his vacation.
I mean, you don't know that. He could be watching and listening in the... Well, now that we started maybe 40 minutes late, maybe not.
I am 100% certain he is not.
He is not. All right, that's fair. You checked your Twitch background, didn't you?
I'm checking
Can't
here.
confirm or deny.
No name showing up in the chat. No. Nope. None of him. He's not in the chat. Anyways, so we are going to get going on the fantasy booking. As always, I open things up to the other people, in this case, JLB, if they want to go first or if they want me to go first.
So I'm gonna go I'm gonna go first, just because I hope you don't have what I'm gonna say. So I was kind of thinking about this a little, and I was also kind of intrigued on how you might book this. So you have to at least give me past and present people within the team, but I would like you to rebook me the men's Survivor Series War Games with past and present people.
Okay. First, hi, Ambrosia.
Hello. No, as long as you came to support, that's awesome.
Yeah. This is where I start singing, wake up!
Watch a little makeup. Watch what the keys above the table. Watch it.
You wanted to.
Go ahead and put a little makeup. You wanted to. All right, I'm sorry.
So you want me to rebook the Survivor Series War Games with past and present teams?
Now, yeah, exactly. So I was gonna open up to all brands. Yeah. I was gonna open it up to all brands, but I think maybe keeping it WWE.
Yeah.
And that will be my final thing. I have so many thoughts coming out of my head. Oh, but what about that? Never mind. That is what it's going to be.
This is potentially too easy.
Well, you got to build some kind of storyline with it.
Storyline's built, man. You don't need to.
But mind you, it's war games, so you also got to figure out, I don't think you'd see Austin in a war games. But it's your fantasy booking, though.
So
maybe we will.
So here's why am I getting a weird background? Like secondary audio.
I don't know. That's all you. Do you have the other ones to open?
I'm out of the thing on that. Well, let's go ahead and do this and close that. Do you have it closed as well?
I do. I don't hear anything on my end.
I'm just hearing a weird background. It's only when I talk loud, though, so that's where I'm like. Anyways.
Oh, maybe it's through my actual headset. A lot of people have been complaining about that. I got to get a new headset.
It's a thing. Or maybe you actually use a real microphone, like a big boy.
Snap. It's also very valid. I have one now right on my desk, actually.
So,
it's the golden Mike Dildo.
Blue microphones are pretty decent.
No, yeah, they're not bad.
Okay. So this is simple. The storyline writes itself. It's a match that we never truly got.
Okay.
You said past and present.
Yep.
NWO versus DX.
Of course you did. Okay.
Of course, it's the fucking simplest thing. So of course you got 5-on-5, HBK, Triple H, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, X-Pac, right?
Right.
For DX. For NWO, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hogan. The toughest thing is filling out those other two, because I can't use 6
X-Pac.
because he's already in it on the other side. I mean, there were a ton of people in the NWO, but I'm not gonna come along and be like, oh,
Scott Norton.
yeah, Brian Adams and Jeff Jarrett was in it for a hot minute, or Bret Hart technically was in it for
Right. Like 3 weeks or something.
3
2
weeks.
weeks.
And I'm also going to keep it fair. I'm not going to do Sting, who was in the NWO Wolfpack.
Right.
Or Luger, who was in the Wolfpack. I'm going to try to keep it relatively early NWO.
Like when it was 6 men.
Before it got super bloated.
Right.
So that puts Big Show, Giant, he would have been in the NWO, and without going too late in the storyline, Vincent probably.
Vincent. Black bald dude?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Virgil.
Okay. Virgil. Yep.
Yeah. I could do Bischoff, but he wasn't really a fighter. I could do DiBiase, but he's not really. I mean, by this point, he's basically retired.
Right. And
then
with,
it's
Rick Rude even.
Yeah.
Because wasn't he part of it for a bit?
Eventually, I believe. It's not showing on this list, so.
Or maybe not. Maybe he wasn't really. But I feel like he did at least something with them.
I mean, he was technically part of the DX originally, so.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
I could do NWO Sting.
You could. Which would have been the fake Sting, no?
Fake Sting, yeah. Jeff Farmer.
Jeff, did he do anything else beside NWO Sting?
I mean,
but he was no one big, essentially.
Some under his own name, but not hardly at all. Yeah. Yeah, he wrestled for a while under the name Cobra in 1995.
Okay.
And then he was NWO Sting. And then he went back to New Japan and wrestled as Super J.
Okay.
You know what? I am going to do that. So that's the lineup. It's going to be Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, The Giant, and NWO Sting versus DX in Survivor Series War Game.
Okay. I would really love to see that.
Once and for all, Battle of the Bands. Of course, me being a WCW mark, I would book it with NWO winning because they're far superior. But
I did enjoy both. It would definitely be tough. I think you might have to do a schmoz finish where neither team wins.
Now,
DX going over? Because guess who won the war?
That's the problem. Is history is written by the victors, right? Now, I will point out, I say that NWO is superior to DX, but that is, of course, saying pre-bloated NWO. There it is. Rick Rude joined briefly in 1997.
Okay.
But there was a point that there he is right there. There was like 40 people or 30 people on the NWO roster. That's too much, right?
At one point, it was just like everybody.
It started off with Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hogan. DiBiase showed up as the money behind it. The
Right.
Giant eventually joined, and then NWO Sting, and then Six, and then Vincent, and then Miss Elizabeth.
Then Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, no?
Nope, just Miss Elizabeth at first.
Oh. Okay.
Then the Nasty Boys, and this is where they jumped the shark because they put the Nasty Boys in the group. Because the Nasty Boys fucking suck. And then Eric Bischoff was revealed to be the person.
Damn,
then,
the Nasty Boys were in it before Eric Bischoff was in it?
Technically speaking, yes.
That's fucked. Okay.
Then you had Buff Bagwell. And then Wall Street.
Just Wall.
Then-
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Wall Street, they called him, but
Okay.
not the Wall. Wall
Oh,
Street.
that's just someone different. Okay.
Yeah, Wall Street is IRS.
Oh.
Rotunda. Mike Rotunda.
Okay, yeah. Oh, damn. I didn't even...
Yep. When he came over to WCW, he wasn't allowed to call himself IRS. So he called himself Michael Wall Street. He went by a couple different names there for a bit. Mr. Wall Street, VK Wall Street was his first name, I think. And then they got threatened lawsuit from WWF. And so
Right,
like,
because VK, Vincent Kennedy, Wall Street, making millions of dollars. They're not that clever.
yeah. Big Bubba Rogers was a member. Then Scott Norton. Then you had a bunch of like NWO Japan members join up, like Masahiro Chono, the Great Muta, Tenzan, which we never saw in America mostly, but they were the NWO New Japan version of it.
Right.
You had Conan at that point join up.
Oh, I remember Conan for a bit, though, too. I think
Conan
he was
might be a
in-
good choice too. Should I
Maybe Conan
Sure.
versus X-Pac might be nice. Yeah. Get rid of NWO
replace
Sting.
NWO Sting with Conan? That's
I would.
probably the better choice. Probably the way I should go.
I mean, at least we can get the Arriba la Raza!
I mean, people
Something about Bowdy Powdy and Rowdy Rowdy.
yeah.
Or him and Road Dogg
fun-
would be a fucking
fun-
jokes.
Fun piece of trivia: it's not Bowdy Bowdy, it's Bout It Bout It.
Oh, is it Bout It Bout It?
Yeah, I was a grown ass man before I learned that too. But yeah, it's like we about
Oh,
it,
really?
rowdy. Mm-hmm.
But he said Rowdy Rowdy. Right? Okay. And then he just said Bout It Bout It.
Yeah.
Okay. That's, wow. I was today years old when I learned that.
But then you had Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude, Louis Spicoli, Dusty Rhodes,
Right.
Brian Adams, Scott Steiner, The Disciple, formerly known as Brutus the Barber Beefcake, a.k.a. the guy who sucks. I take it back. Nasty Boys isn't when they jumped the shark. When The Disciple joined is when they jumped the shark. Nick Patrick, their
Fair.
on-staff referee.
Right. Yep.
Then they split into NWO Hollywood, or NWO Black and White, versus NWO Wolfpack. And at that point, they also got Stevie Ray and Horace Hogan, a.k.a. nephew to Hulk Hogan, and Barry Windham, and Mark Johnson, the referee. And Wolfpack ended up getting Lex Luger, Sting on their side.
Mm-hmm.
And then they reunited after the Finger Poke of Doom as the NWO Elite. And they kicked a bunch of people out. But allowed Disco Inferno, David Flair, Tori Wilson, and Rick Steiner to join.
Oh, okay. Fuck.
Then they had the NWO B team, which was Stevie Ray, the Giant, Kurt Hennig, Vincent, Scott Norton, Brian Adams, and Horace Hogan. And then you had NWO 2000, which was Bret Hart, Jeff Jarrett, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Scott Steiner, Ron and Don Harris, the Harris brothers.
Right.
Mark Johnson, the referee. Madeja, Tylene Buck, April Hunter, and Pamela Palchuk.
Everyone who's everyone was literally a part of that fucking group.
And remember I mentioned NWO Japan. That was Masahiro Chono, Hiro Saito, Hiroshi Tenzan, Scott Norton, Buff Bagwell, NWO Sting, The Great Muta, Michael Wall Street 6, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Tetsuya Goto, Michiyoshi Ohara, Big Titan, Akira, Brian Adams, and Satoshi Kojima. Then, in 2002, the WWF version of the NWO debuted, which was Hollywood Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, X-Pac, Big Show, Booker T, and Shawn Michaels. And
I don't remember Booker being part of the NWO. Neither Shawn Michaels. What the fuck?
That's where I get a little frustrated, because I'm like, I mean, I get it. You're part of the clique and everything, but Shawn Michaels does not belong in the NWO. He is a DX person.
Right.
Booker T does not belong in the NWO because
He
Booker
was pro
fucking
WCW.
T. Anyways.
Yeah, he was pro WCW though, in the sense like he was the last WCW champion when they all closed down. He was always part. He was never part of the NWO in WCW. On top of that, he was always going against, if they ever faced, he was going against them. So kind of weird for them to put Booker in that. Now I suddenly feel like watching the NWO return to WWE on the 2000s there.
The real question is, because they've been really shady about this, they're calling them War Games matches, but they're also specifically calling them Survivor Series War Games. So is there going to be a change to the rules in somewhere? Because remember, Survivor Series is an elimination match. War Games, by its default, is not. It's still a first pin match.
Oh, so I think they are going to make it Survivor Series kind of.
So that's
rules.
the question: Are they going to do it turn it into an elimination style?
I think they would, and I think that would be really cool to do as well.
It could be interesting, and that's where it's going to be interesting.
And they maybe all start in the ring as well. No, because they said they have the advantage, so they're not going to start in the ring.
And that's the big thing that separates War Games from that and the dual cage or the dual thing. But the biggest thing that separates it from pretty much any other cage match is the tiered entry system. Also, the match beyond, where the actual match does not start until everyone's in the ring. So you've got this period of 20 minutes or so of people entering the ring and fighting, but no chance to win.
Reason.
It's just
kicking each other's ass.
Yeah, just kicking each other's ass, giving themselves the advantage for later.
Right.
And so,
yeah. So I do think in that regard it might be an elimination kind of style though. That would be kind of different.
Yeah. That's why I'm just suspecting that they're gonna do it as an elimination style.
Right.
So in related news, related question booking, who do you think is going to be the final member of the women's War Games?
So originally I was like, okay, it's Sasha or Flair. And then I had realized my friend, well, not realized, but my friend was like, oh, dude, but why not Becky? And then I was like, oh, but Becky makes sense. She was kind of there at the end when Damage Control came in, and she kind of took Bianca's side after just facing her. So I think now I just can't get anybody but Becky outside of my head.
I think that's probably right, especially since rumors have it, reports have it, that she's scheduled to be at Survivor Series War Games.
I just don't know why you had to make it on SmackDown. Just
But that's the
fucking-
deal, is they say they're going to announce it on SmackDown, but the reports don't have her being at SmackDown yet. So are they just going to announce her on SmackDown and she not be there? That seems silly.
Right.
So it does make me wonder if they're not going to announce one person and then have a last-minute substitution. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they did say they were going to announce it on SmackDown. So
that's my point. But here's the deal: they could announce on SmackDown that it's Dana Brooke or whoever, right? And then have a backstage segment at War Games where Damage Control team up backstage and beat up Dana Brooke. I'm not saying it's going to be Dana Brooke. That's just a name that popped out of my head, right? But beat up Dana Brooke. They're like,
I mean,
now
she
you
does
guys
deserve better.
Yeah. Now you're one person short. You're going to be short on people for this. And then it comes the time they're like, "Oh, that's fine. We've got a substitution." And then Becky's music plays.
I mean, that would be really the way to do it, I feel, if you didn't announce it on Raw for, like, her coming out at the end when Damage Control was kicking some butt. For it to be just announced like that, it might not be cool. But the problem is, now because you let it linger for too long, I think everyone is automatically going to think it's someone huge. So you can't put, like, I mean, unless maybe you say, oh no, but Rousey's already facing someone, which I totally had forgotten. That
well,
was a
and
match.
it's got to be a face because it's on the face team.
True.
So, I mean, it could be Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan. It could be Lacey. Lacey's a heel.
Yeah,
I think.
probably. Lacey's kind of MIA right now, but
Again?
well, because she had a backstage vignette or vignette, as the case may be, a couple weeks ago where
Okay.
she was removing her makeup and she was talking kind of half to the camera and half to herself about how things have to change and she's going to go back to the basics and then she
the
picked
Southern
up.
Belle.
No, she picked up her because she was specifically taking off her makeup. Then she picked up her uniform, her military uniform, and said something about, I've just got to go back to being me. So I suspect her gimmick is going to be military based in some way. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Okay.
She was legitimately in the military.
Right, but I mean, that kind of didn't work at the beginning when she originally showed up anyways, though.
They really never gave it too much of a shot, and also keep in mind it was when they did try it was under Vince McMahon.
This is true.
So yeah.
Okay.
But
So you're kind of thinking along the same lines, Becky
well,
Lynch?
yeah, I think in the end the person that enters the match will probably be Becky. That's who I think.
Okay.
It will be. I feel like they're gonna do a bait and switch, and they're gonna announce someone on Friday, and then, like I said, have Damage Control take them out backstage to give them the advantage. Well, they're not gonna have 5 people, so they're gonna have to fight it with just 4. We're gonna be able to kick their butts, and then them announce.
Although, mind you, Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka were doing pretty freaking fine without Michelin, now formerly known as Mia Yim.
Now back to known as Mia Yim.
What do you mean?
Her WWE profile has been changed back to Mia Yim.
Really?
Yep.
What's going on?
Well, okay. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is they did sort of imply that Minshin is a nickname because it means
Crazy.
wild card, crazy sort of a thing. And so she was supposed to be Mia Yim Minshin. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to be changing her name. It was just supposed to be, her with a nickname, right? A title.
Fair.
But it did not take them very long
But they ended up changing her biography to that name. I guess they're trying to figure out what they should do, what people are saying about it. She seems to like the name because she was very excited by it. She
it's
posted
Korean,
something on Twitter.
so it honors her heritage. She might have came up with the idea for it.
Right.
Like I said, what I think most likely happened is it was supposed to go up as a nickname, not as a replacement for her name. And they made a mistake when doing it, when putting her up, doing it as a replacement.
Okay.
And so this was them fixing it back to being just her name. Gotta scroll all the way down to M's now. Their website's really slow. See, yep, Mia Yim now.
Oh,
so
snap.
I think this was them fixing it back to Mia Yim, as they figure out how to do it. Mia mention Yim.
Oh
Mia,
boy.
Quotes mention Yim, something, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. It's supposed to be. It was just supposed to be her nickname, kind of thing. So, all right, fair enough. But yeah,
Anyways.
it's just I feel like doesn't necessarily fit in the matchup. I get it. She's there for Rhea. That's kind of, and they're already having a little feud between the OC and Judgment Day. But I don't know. Like, I feel like they're not. She's not necessarily clicking with obviously the trio there. Asuka, Alexa. And
She's only been there 2 weeks, so it's hard to really
That's
say
fair.
how well she
Yeah.
clicks. But I think
fair.
that also plays into why they were going with that mention thing. I think they want her to come off as kind of a wild card. You know what I mean?
Okay, right.
I don't really fit in with either side, but I fit in more with this side for now.
Fair.
If I were to say that someone is going to betray a team, my hard money would be that she betrays her team and sides with Damage Control at the pay-per-view, that it's a swerve thing.
Ooh.
I don't know if I think that's going to happen, but
Yeah.
if it were to happen, it'd be her. Second choice would be Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross teaming up again and being best friends and evil or crazy.
I mean, did you see Nikki Cross at the cubicle, like just fucking pulling her hair and?
Yeah, I know. I really just want Alexa to go back to heel Alexa. I know.
Yeah,
It's just
no,
me.
straight up. No, it's not just you though. I want her to go back. She's so much better as a heel, and I don't know. I found this is maybe a little misogynistic of me to say, or Fabe's not here, so I guess someone has to be. But I felt like the lighting on Raw was a bit harsh. It was a bit. Like, I don't know, it's something I would have never have noticed, but I noticed it like live right on Alexa, and it just seemed like, I don't know, she seemed just like, it was weird. Like, she seemed like she didn't know what she was kind of doing, and she seemed very like out of it. You know what I mean? And I don't know, that's obviously probably not to the light. Maybe she also doesn't like where she is in this thing as well. She doesn't really know what's kind of going on either. Yeah, I don't know. She's doesn't seem comfortable with where she is, I feel. I'm getting that vibe, at least. Obviously, I don't know how she feels, but I'm getting this vibe where, she's kind of in limbo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't
feels
think
like she's
she
also
knows
kind
where
of in
she's
limbo.
where she's supposed to be now. And that's part of why I just want her to go back to being a heel. She's so good at being a heel.
Yeah, but not Fiend Alexa, please, dear
Not
God.
Fiend. Just mean girl Alexa. That's all we want.
Yeah, that's all we want.
Mean girl Alexa.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we ask for.
Anyways,
so
go ahead.
I was also just going to mention too, with KO coming back, and we were talking about Survivor Series and all that. Do you think then KO might potentially have a chance to go after Roman for potentially Rumble or Elimination Chamber or even Mania?
No, I still think Mania is going to be Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
I think Cody Rhodes comes back, wins the Rumble, challenges at Mania.
Unless KO wins the Rumble and Seth Rollins screws Cody Rhodes over, and thus
I think they know what they have with Cody is time limited based on heat. If they allow him to cool, right? He came back with an explicit purpose of challenging for the belt and trying to win it, the belt that his dad never got. Right. That was his whole promo. And then the injury set him back. I think the feud with Seth is over. I think the only option is to have him come back and challenge for the belt. He may lose. I'm not saying he guarantee wins.
right.
I do
but at least
think
it puts him in that picture.
Now, that being said, I think we may have a best of both worlds situation, though. Because I also think they're trying to come up with a way to split those belts again.
Okay.
And I think the best way to do it, I've said this for forever here, is a two falls match. First fall wins one belt, second fall wins the other. And that way, people can win without Roman losing, right? Especially with Roman wanting to go part-time. This is the best way to do it.
Already part-time.
Yeah, but wanting
The
to
guy literally was on SmackDown for like 5 minutes. but he was the best part of the show.
This way he can lose without losing. He can then take some time off. He can come back, challenge again to win back the belt that he never lost.
Right.
And so in that case, they could have Kevin Owens be one challenger, Cody be the other, and have it end with, a series where, like, for one of them, I said this before, Roman hits the Superman punch on Cody, right?
Okay.
And then before he can go for the cover, KO hits him with a stunner. He rolls out of the ring. KO then covers Cody, gets the 3, and wins the first belt. And then it restarts, and a similar situation happens with the other belt, where Cody steals the victory in some way from Roman. You know what I mean? That sets up Roman to look really, really strong and still lose. And then he can go off. I do think there's an outside chance that Roman keeps one of the belts, keeps the
I feel
the
like,
Universal.
I don't think he would lose both.
Well, I think him losing both in a stunning fashion like that, pun intended.
I mean, unless him... Again, yeah, oh, well done. I do think if it's Rock and Roman, though, you obviously don't need a title for that. It would make sense for the storyline of you're not the head of the table. I'm 2 champions and faces The Rock, but then that just kind of ruins stuff for everyone else. So you really, if The Rock ends up doing it, it's not going to be for a title. So that's where your scenario would work out best, and Roman could go do that.
I still stand firmly on the it's not going to be Rock versus Roman. And I talked about this. You weren't here when I did this the other day. Give me 1 second. Because everyone keeps going off of a report from 7 months ago that said The Rock has nothing on his schedule during Mania time, first quarter of 2023, right? You're like, see, he has nothing on his schedule. That's how we know he's going to be there. Since then, they've announced he's currently filming a movie called Red One, which will probably be done, but in post-production and potentially
reshoots and whatnot.
Reshoots, or even, I don't know if they've announced a debut day, but it could be close enough that he's doing promotional tour for it. Untitled Red Notice sequel. So Red Notice came out a year ago. He's got that. That's in pre-production right now, which means it'll start filming probably really close to after Red 1 finishes. The King, a movie or show, I can't remember what it is, whether it's a Netflix show or whatever, but it's about King Kamehameha, the king of Hawaii.
Oh, snap. Okay.
That he is both acting in and producing, by the way.
Wow. Okay.
San Andreas 2.
Oh, Jesus.
That he's acting in and producing. Okay. Jungle Cruise 2. That he's acting in and producing.
First one was good.
Movie.
Should have just stopped. Okay.
And a Big Trouble in Little China remake, right? All of those have been announced since that whole... He's cleared his schedule for quarter one of 2023.
At the same time, if he's just producing, though, yes, he's acting in a lot of them, but
those are all acting credits. Every single one I made, there were acting credits. So he's acting and producing in some of those. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies announced since then. One of them that's currently filming, right? And then in production, he's also got a movie called.
Told you he was on.
A movie called Teddy Bear that he's producing. A movie called Son of Shaolin that he's producing. A movie called Emergency Contact that he's producing. A documentary called 4 Down that he's producing. A documentary called Not Without Hope that he's producing. A movie called The Jansen Directive that he's producing.
Good night, buddy.
Phil Heath.
Thanks for coming on in, though. That's awesome of you.
Untitled Phil Heath project that he is producing. All of those things are in addition to the movies he's starring in that he's producing that are coming up here.
His 2023 sounds packed.
So he's got a whole lot.
But WrestleMania does only take one day.
Again, it does only take one day, but remember what the thing is. It's not about the time. By the way, I'm going to start it now. We have till 55. No cursing. But the WrestleMania only takes one day. The performance only takes one day. But the thing that stops him is not the time to come and do it. It's the fact that any of those ones that he's acting in, the insurance for them will forbid him from doing something that could get him injured. Which would then throw everything into
turmoil,
a loop, right?
Yeah.
Let's say he clears off his thing. He gets done with Red 1. He films the entire Red Notice sequel before
April.
Yeah, before April, which he could do. That's fine. He clears some time before but after that, but before the King Kamehameha movie, right? That he performs in WrestleMania, but then he tears his pectoral muscle like Cody did, right? That pushes King Kamehameha movie back, which then pushes San Andreas 2 back, which then pushes Jungle Cruise 2 back, which then pushes the Doc Savage movie 2 back, which then pushes Big Trouble in Little China back. That is 5 multi-million-dollar movies. San Andreas 2, Jungle Cruise 2 are both huge. We're talking $150, $200 million budget movies, right?
Right.
all of those things being pushed back costs a boatload of money, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
And so their insurance writers for all of their main actors in those movies, all of those the ones that they can't just recast, all have writers in them that say you can't do certain things that could push back the movies.
Right.
To stop them, and that's why I just don't think he's legally.
I mean, he
going
could
to be
easily just as do that as while he's in the gym, though. And this guy's a gym rat, right? That's how Cody tore his pectoral muscle and so on. So
indeed, he could, and that's a risk that they take. But risk minimization is the key for insurances. Take it from somebody who works a day job that's in the insurance industry. Right. Risk minimization is the key to it. That's why almost every insurance has certain things in it. Like here in America, life insurance is a thing, and health insurance is a thing that we have to worry about, unlike a lot of other countries that have nationalized health care.
right.
A lot of health insurances in America, if you're above a certain age, require you to do a physical before they'll sign you up on it. Require, have certain things, like if you're a smoker, they won't cover certain things because it's all risk minimization, right? And then there are some insurances that simply will look at you and say, nah. Oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, you're a lumberjack? Nah, man, we ain't gonna cover you. Because your job is too risky for us.
Right.
And I'm not joking. The company I work for is starting a new section of it that's for high risk insurance, like for businesses, right? So the business can offer this high risk insurance, and that's who they're going after. It's companies that in other ways cannot get insured because they're too dangerous. And logging is one of them, right? These people have to climb up to the top of a 600-foot tree. Oh, not 50 foot.
50 foot. I know. I was like, that's too low.
100-foot tree. 150-foot tree. Yeah. Right. Carrying chainsaws and other sharp objects, and they're strapped to it with no real ropes, and they're cutting the branches off, and the people at the bottom have to be in a way that they can control how the branches fall and all this stuff. And insurance companies just say, nah, man, we ain't doing that. We ain't playing that game.
That's way too risky, yeah.
And so that's what it comes down to is, they understand he could tear a muscle working out. That's the risk of the business because they hired him for his physique. So they understand, when they're doing San Andreas 2 or Jungle Cruise or the King Kamehameha, they signed him for his star power and for his physique. So the cost of doing business is the risk of him getting injured while working out.
That's fair. Okay.
The cost of doing business is not allowing a different company that is not paying $100 million for this star to be in their movie, to put him through a ringer for a paycheck that's not coming to them.
Right.
Cause,
and that's why Triple H was appealing when he was asked about that. That's why Triple H was appealing to the shock you get when you're the adrenaline you get when you're hearing 30,000 fans screaming your name. You know what I mean? He wasn't talking about money because he knows he can't compare or compete with money, but he can compete with at least.
No. The real thing is, notice he never promised anything.
No, exactly.
He never said anything. They said, "What do you think? Is The Rock going to be there?" And he also, importantly, never denied it.
Right.
Because this is all about plausible deniability. Now, when The Rock doesn't show up, they can't be like, "You told us The Rock was coming," because he didn't. The entire time, he's like, "Nah, man,
No, I didn't. I just said he knows and he likes that feeling that he gets when he is here. But that's all I really said.
And here's the deal. I'm going to go on the record and say, I hoped I'm wrong. I just don't think it is, right?
Right. Of
Like,
course.
I would love to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Who wouldn't? Any wrestling fan from my age worth of salt would love to see that. But I just don't. This is about managed expectations. I learned a long time ago not to expect to win the lottery when you're not playing. And right now, I don't think The Rock is playing this lottery.
He's dropping hints as well, though. You know, in his movie The Young Rock and da-da-da.
They're all current. Well, the Young Rock movie or TV show is
Sure.
co-produced by WWE. Keep that in mind.
Is it? I don't think it is. I think you're wrong about that one.
I am 90% certain, but I'm on it right now. So, let's find production. Why did that open in another window? Oh, because they have to be again cast and crew. Let's see.
Jeff Chieg is the main producer. Premiered on NBC, blah, blah, blah. Positive reviews. No, they just have certain WWE stars go on it.
Well, I'm going to point out, you mentioned
as...
Jeff Chang, but I'm looking at here, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 different people named as producers on it. Some of them just on certain things. But again, production does not necessarily mean they are showing up in the produced by. Produced by is going to be individuals.
Right.
Produced by company is simply...
Yeah, it's... Oh, World Wrestling Entertainment. So you got $7 Productions, Fierce Baby Productions, World Wrestling Entertainment, and Universal Television.
So can I hear a
No, you may
right?
not. You may shut your fanny and move on. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well done.
I feel like I'm owed that.
You're owed that. Yeah, you fucking got what you're owed. And move on. Now piss off. Yeah, damn it. What are you doing, Rock? What are you doing? But, I mean, fair enough. I didn't realize WWE was getting some of that moolah. Damn.
The thing is, they have to be in it for at least part of it, because many of the characters that are being portrayed on it are trademarks to
of WWE. Yeah.
WWE, right?
That's fair.
They can't show,
and even some of the stars too. So.
That's the deal. They can't not have them in there somewhere.
Right.
So that's the thing is, the Rock is, these are carnies. Remember that. And carnies will say anything to try to sell a product, right? And so The Rock has stated many a time how much he credits the WWE with getting him where he is, right?
Right.
And he will always be a WWE guy.
Of course.
So, of course he's going to shill for WWE, and he's going to carny it up and do it. And if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong, and I'll be happy. I'll be like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be like, fuck yeah, because it's been after 10 minutes. I could do that. I'll be happy, and I'll 100% admit that, hey, I'm happy to be wrong in this situation. I just don't think I am, and I would rather be happily surprised than disappointed. Right?
No, that's fair.
If I have the expectation he's going to show up and he's not, or have the expectation he's going to be announced and he's not, then I'll be disappointed. If I expect him to not be there and then it shows up he is, and I'll be a happy camper.
No, that's fair. That's a good way to look at it.
So
You just won't be a diehard believer. That's all.
I also don't believe in the Tooth Fairy.
Also played by The Rock.
Or Santa Claus. He hasn't played that yet.
He's not. No, not yet. I imagine maybe next year. He should have been in that Violent Night movie.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's what I was gonna say.
That would have been
that's the movie
perfect.
that they should have put him in. Fucking.
I kind of want to see that. It's been promoted so much. It looks like stupid, but it also looks kind of good. Oh, I also got to watch the Santa Claus movie too, technically. That's now a TV show with Tim Allen.
You don't really have to.
I mean, I don't have to necessarily. It's valid. Yeah. I feel like I've seen all of the freaking Santa Claus stuff, though. I might as well finish it.
You know,
they'll just keep making remakes. I get it.
I'm relatively certain your life will be just fine if you don't. Like,
I think you might be right about that. I really didn't like the Last Man Standing shows.
I've found that my life has been happier the more I've
stopped watching reboots and remakes and
nope, not about reboots and remakes, just Tim Allen.
Ouch.
The more I've cut Tim Allen out of my life, the happier I've been.
He's had that much effect on you? Okay.
He is a nut job conservative.
Right.
And so much of a nut job that he claims the reason his show got canceled was not the fact that its ratings were flagging or that he charges so much that the production cost outweighed the profits of it or any of that stuff.
Oh, really?
Or that just the public wasn't really into it anymore.
Well, it was on for quite some time, though.
Because it kept getting... Well, it would get canceled.
Like 9 seasons.
It would get canceled, and then the fans, the vocal minority fans, would rally for it to get renewed, and it got picked up by a different studio, and then it got canceled again, and then it let's see.
Oh wow! Apparently, it's coming back in 2023. The series is set to premiere sometime in 2023. Molly starred as the original Mandy for the first 6 seasons of the show. When Last Man Standing was canceled by ABC and picked up by Fox, the character was recast, much to the shock of fans. What? So it might be, but not with Tim Allen. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
In May 2020, Fox renewed the series for a 9th and final season, which premiered on January 3rd, 2021. Series concluded after 194 episodes on May 20, 2021. The series runs blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Yeah, so it pretty much consistently dropped in viewers every season, right? It also dropped heavily in the 18 to 49 category, which we've mentioned before, is the category that networks want, right?
Right.
So, and keep in mind here, season 1 premiered the first episode, 12.93 million viewers, right?
Wow. Okay.
Of that, only 3.4 of them were 18 to 49, which means 8.5, almost 9 million. Well, no, more than 9.5 million viewers were above the age of 49. Were 50 or older, right? Which is not what they want. By the end of that season, it had dropped to 6.6 million viewers and dropped to 1.75 in the 18 to 49. Right?
Oh, dirty.
By the end of its run on ABC when it got canceled, it premiered to 5.9 million viewers, only
Okay.
1.1 of them in 18 to 49, which means 4.8 million viewers of 50 and older.
Okay.
And it ended with slightly more viewers, but still only 1.1 of them, 1.1 million of them were 18 to 49. So it's got this huge audience of 50-year-olds and up that were watching it, and the young people weren't. Right?
No, I mean
Then
that's
it
fair.
went to
I mean,
Fox.
it's also about a 60
Yeah.
something year old
But
father who
I understand that, but here's the deal: there's a reason they go after the 18 to 49. That's the market share that tends to have disposable income, and so the advertisers
Right.
like that, right?
right.
And so when you drop that much, when you drop from 3.4 to 1 in 6 seasons, that drives advertisers off, right? Then it premiered again on Fox, right? And it got huge first numbers, not huge compared to the original, but 8 million for the premiere and only 4.7 for the final episode. So it dropped almost half of its audience over the season, right?
Damn. Okay.
And only 1.8 in the 18 to 49 on the premiere, and less than 1 million on the finale under 18 to 49, right?
Wow.
Then by the final season on Fox, the premiere, 2.52 million people, right? That is 10.5 million less than its first episode ever, right? And only 500,000 of them 18 to 49. And by the end of the season, only 400,000.
Does it mention
18 to
how much he
49.
was getting paid on Last Man Standing?
I'm not sure. Give me a second to see if I can find it. But my point is that's a huge drop in viewership as
Yeah.
a whole. On top of it, a huge drop in 18 to 49.
I mean, that claim of them being dropped just solely for the ratings' sake makes sense, rather than, his whole idea because he's super conservative and that's why they dropped. Like they wouldn't have kept you for 9 seasons, but
It also now I'm not someone who puts Rotten Tomatoes on a huge pedestal, but I will point out that season 1 has a
34%.
14%.
oh really? Okay, I saw. I guess on average it was 34%.
Yeah, season 2 got up to 40%. So, I think it's just one of those things. It wasn't liked by younger people, which you could say, oh, that's the woke crowd, and you wouldn't be 100% wrong because younger people tend to be more progressive. In American politics, 70% of people in Generation Z who voted in this last election voted progressive.
So he was making 200 peak. It was reported that Allen was earning a whopping 1.25 million per episode. That's fucked.
And there were 21 episodes in the final season, right?
Oh my
24,
God.
18, 22. So let's say 21. 21 looks like a really decent average. So 21 times 1.25 equals 26.25 million per year.
A season. That's
Yep.
crazy.
So yeah, I mean that's a absolute shit ton of money for
That's nuts. Yeah.
for this, and that's it, right? But again, I didn't watch it because he was a shithead conservative, and I'm not going to support that. I don't go to Chick-fil-A for the same reasons.
Oh snap. Okay.
There's quite a few celebrities that I've cut out of my thing because of it.
Well, and I mean,
I-
Did you like Home Improvement though? I thought Home
Home
Improvement
Improvement was
great.
fine. It was fine. When it came out was before politics, for me.
Right.
It was good. It was good. I wasn't like a huge fan of it. I thought Al was the bigger star than Tim Allen was. But to use a different reference, right? I'm a huge Superman nerd, right?
Okay.
It's hard to tell because you can't see. But on my Funko Pops over here, on this side here.
Oh, by the way, I was wrong. So it was 235,000 per episode when he was on ABC.
Okay, so
He was
then they
actually
went to
making.
Fox.
Well, I think he was making 1 point something during Home Improvement time.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna point out over here, this section you can't see, but this whole section up here in my action figures, my Funko Pops, it's almost all Superman. I'm a huge Superman nerd, right?
Right.
One of my favorite TV shows growing up,
Supernatural.
was Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Fair.
Starring Dean Cain as Superman. Dean Cain, I've said before, was the first time in my life I saw a Superman that looked like Superman, right? Nothing against,
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves. God, I'm totally blanking. Don't get old. Getting old sucks.
I'm already there.
Nothing against Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves is a phenomenal actor, and he did phenomenal. Those movies are masterpieces. The first two, at least.
Okay.
But Dean Cain came along, and for the first time, Superman looked like Superman for me, right?
Right.
Dean Cain now is a nutjob conservative that I will not support, right? Dean Cain comes out with a movie, not gonna watch him. As a younger person, I watched Xena Warrior Princess and its spinoff Hercules, starring Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo now is a nutjob conservative. I will not watch a movie that he's in. Now, fortunately for me, he only does like Christian, you're going to hell if you're gay movies. So I don't have to watch them because fuck those movies.
Right.
But that's the deal. Is I've got a line. My politics say, you go there, I stop supporting you. So I'm not gonna watch fucking Santa Claus TV show for that reason. My life is happier when I don't have to deal with fuckers like that.
All right. Nope.
Anyways,
That's a fair point.
back to professional wrestling, which is why we do this podcast.
Is it? I don't know anymore. It's been
ADHD is fucking real, people. When you
real
get
as
to
it
be
gets.
45 and undiagnosed and untreated, it's
Now, question for you: Do you want to do? Do you want to do your fantasy booking, or do you want to run down Survivor Series?
Well, spoiler: my fantasy booking was going to be running on Survivor Series.
Okay.
So,
Fair enough. Two birds, one stone. I got it. All right.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and open that tab again. So as of right now, there are 5 matches announced for Survivor Series. I don't anticipate there will be many more. Maybe one more announced, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Because there are 2 War Games matches.
That's going to take a chunk
Those
of
matches take a chunk of time.
Yeah.
And take some time to set up, especially since they don't typically put them back to back, right? So that means they're going to bring the cage down, set it up. They're probably going to start with one, then take the cage up,
And end with one.
and then end with one at the end, right?
Damn. So they're going to start with the women's one then? Because clearly the bloodline is ending it.
Most likely, yeah. I mean, that's my anticipation. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, so. But so we've got the women's match and the men's War Game match. We'll get to those in a second. But we have Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi Blackheart. Raise your hand if you think Shotzi actually has a chance here. In the back? No.
No, I think no, he was just picking his nose. Okay. No.
Nope. No one believes Shotzi has a chance. Okay. Ronda Rousey. I'm not a Rousey fan, but That's
Yeah.
the fucking way to do it, right?
No, that's it. I am guessing though we're probably gonna get someone coming in to interfere. Maybe this is where Flair comes back or something, help something out to continue something. Because honestly, I don't know. I haven't cared about a Ronda Rousey match since. I mean, even Liv, I didn't really care all that much. I think since really Flair. So it's been a hot
Now,
minute.
now Flair coming back would be one way to do it. If I were WWE, and women's War Games match notwithstanding, if I had someone coming back, it would be having Becky challenge Ronda Rousey here, because they've got kind of unfinished business in the fact that their storyline was never really done, right? There's matches with Charlotte involved. There's matches, but they really need like a singles match, one on
They have
one
one.
for the title. They might have, but like there was never a rubber match. There was never a Sorry, I had a thing in my throat.
No, but I remember them making a promo based off of that. She's like, "I never beat you one on one," and da 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 da. So, and I feel like they faced each other one on one. No,
Give me 1 second here, because I'm gonna
let's check here.
bring up cage match to be certain. Matches. You know, my favorite thing with cage match is you can
Have it in German.
no, but that's actually really cool. You can actually yeah, so as of right now, at least according to cage match, Becky and Ronda have only been in 2 matches together, and none of
One
them
was
were
a triple
singles
threat.
matches. Triple threat, and then a 6-man tag, right? Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Ronda Rousey versus Riot Squad.
Oh shit. Okay.
And then the WrestleMania 35. And that was it. Those were the only matches that Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch were in against each other. Right?
Oh, okay.
Now, instead, Ronda Rousey has had a total of 14 matches that involved Charlotte, including beating Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. Right?
Right.
Now that I'll admit is a way you bring Charlotte back as I want my rematch. You know, that writes itself.
Right.
That's fine. You know. Now I will point out. I say 14 matches, but this does include like house shows. So if we take out the house shows, we've got 1.
I was like 14. Fuck.
2.
I'm even surprised
3,
Ronda did house shows.
4, 5 matches that were televised.
Oh wow. Okay.
Still. But yeah, so they could have Charlotte come back and say, I want my rematch. I never got my shot for that back, all that stuff. That's fine. They can do that. But I think the better storyline is Becky Lynch coming and saying, you never beat me one-on-one.
Right.
We never even had a one-on-one match. There was always Charlotte involved. So I want my match. That's how I would do it. It's also been, 4 years, 3 years? 3 years since their last match?
Yeah.
Their
Well,
2 matches,
WrestleMania, yeah,
July of
exactly.
2019. So yeah, it'll be 4 years by WrestleMania. It'll be the 4-year anniversary of it.
Damn.
And again, it was Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey in there. And this is when Becky Lynch became champ.
Right.
And so that's why I would bring Becky Lynch back if the War Games match notwithstanding, right?
Right.
So say they announce someone else for the War Games match. Liv Morgan is an example.
Right.
There's every bit of a chance it's that. Who else? They could call up someone from the NXT roster. We don't have a match with Candice LeRae, so it could be Candice LeRae. She kind of fits in there fairly easily.
I
So
mean, I
there's-
don't know. Bianca was saying, like, just making it sound like it's going to be a big deal. So,
Hey,
I feel
you
like
think
it's gotta
Candice LeRae's
be.
not a big deal? You haven't been paying attention.
I mean, hasn't she lost all of her matches on the main roster?
That's just setting things up.
Okay, fair enough.
Give me 1 second.
Jeez Louise.
And it's mostly because I'm like, you really need to see Candice LeRae in her indie before she wins.
Oh, no. I think she's great talent, though. I'm not saying, like,
no, this isn't about talent. This is about what she's willing to do. I'm gonna
calm down, Vince McMahon.
open up an image. I'm gonna warn in advance. This image has a person in it who is persona non grata in the wrestling world. But unfortunately, he was often tag team partner with Candice LeRae.
Oh, snap. Oh, my God. Fucking Carrie in the flesh over there. Jesus.
She does not mess around, and that's just one of the many matches that
Well,
come.
I
up.
mean,
She even released a T-shirt that was her eyes with just blood running down the face. You know what I mean?
okay.
She is fucking hardcore. At least was hardcore on the indies. Here's another
Right.
one. She's on the receiving end here. It's not the best quality. But this is an indie match that she was in. That has her being beaten by a kendo stick and bloody on the ground.
Jesus.
Like her face is the color of that red tarp on the
Legit.
map.
Yep. I was going to say, I just can't see your face. Damn.
Yeah, she
I mean, okay, so I obviously only know her NXT stuff, but even some of her NXT stuff was good. But holy shit, in the Indies, looks like it was on a whole other level.
yeah, she set the bar really high on the indies. And unfortunately WWE doesn't tend to do that sort of a match, right?
Right.
But at least they didn't under Vince McMahon.
Right. I could see,
it's not
Triple
Vince
H doing it during Extreme Rules, but
Yeah.
then they also probably maybe
games,
would have done some
cage matches.
War Games
are
could work
designed-
completely.
Yeah, are designed around blood. I mean,
Hell, look at the Jungle Boy match.
look at the Jungle Boy match. He like a minute and a half into it, he's bloody.
That's it.
So I think Candice LeRae could go in there and in this War Games match she could make a name for herself. But like you say, I mean, again, it's carny shit. They're gonna say what they have to make it sound like a big deal, and then whoever they announce,
Right.
But
And whatever, it might be like a Liv. She was former WWE champion. You know what I mean? Like, I can hear Michael Cole now.
But I'm trying to just think. I mean, there's a ton of people that they could pull up from NXT. I'm just looking at the list here. I mean, they could bring out Doudrop. She's not doing shit.
Right.
And for her,
She's in
they could
NXT
say-
now?
No, she's still technically on Raw. We just haven't seen her for anything.
Seen her
but
forever.
she
Okay.
could be a big name, using the word "big" literally.
Right.
pulling from the NXT or not the NXT, the SmackDown roster. Liv Morgan, we mentioned. It's worth saying Sasha Banks and Naomi are still, at least as far as we know, under WWE contract. I don't think they're coming back, but that's, who
It's
knows?
your opinion. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? So those are options. Raquel Rodriguez is an option. Have her come over and kick some ass.
Okay.
Shayna Baszler, she's a heel, but say we brought in the big guns there. But then, like I said, going down to the NXT roster, there are some that could be pulled up that would be big names, like a Blair Davenport, formerly
Gigi
Priestley.
Dolan.
Gigi Dolan.
Mandy
The only
Rose.
reason I think Gigi Dolan, Mandy Rose, and the other one, JC Jane, are just that they're a heel faction. So I kind of doubt that they come and join the good guys, but who knows? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Nikita Lyons or Lyons, however they pronounce her name.
Why do you do it a French way? Lyons.
Lyons? Because if it's Lions, you spell it with an I. This is America. Speak American. Cora Jade could be
So
brought
if it's
up.
French, it starts with a Y? What the fuck?
That's how in French they spell it, and they pronounce it Lyons. It's actually a city in France.
Your French accent, that was great. I love it.
Lyon, city in France.
Lyons. Oh. You
What is
literally go
interesting-
by that stereotype. You
What-
literally go.
What is funny,
Lyon.
the city of Lyon. The city of
Also
Lyon.
has everyone in the city of Lyon has a nice pair of tush. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, it's half the size of the city of Omaha that I live in.
Oh well.
In terms of population, I don't know in terms of area. It's interesting. Anyways, but so they could even bring up like Meiko Satomura. She's a legend in Japanese wrestling and former NXT UK champion. I mean, there are options there. They could be bringing back someone that is currently retired, like Beth
Trish
Phoenix.
Stratus, Beth
Or a
Phoenix.
Trish Stratus. Yeah, they could be pulling almost anyone in there. So there's options for it. I think the most likely option, like you've said, or like we've already said, is probably
Big time Bex.
Big Time Bex there. But, who really knows?
So that's number one. Ronda Rousey winning it. Don't see anything going any different. But hopefully we get Bex coming out. If not Bex, Charlotte for that. So we can at least get a good feud going maybe on until WrestleMania.
Yep. Then we have AJ Styles with the OC versus Finn Balor with Judgment Day.
I mean, yeah, I wish neither team would be there, per se, and we just get a full-fledged kick-ass AJ versus Finn Balor match, but obviously it looks like we're not going to be going that route, and there's going to be a lot of interference. There's no stipulation to this match whatsoever?
Just as of right now, it just says singles match. Although we did learn with AEW that they can always just add a no DQ stipulation at the last minute and not even bother to tell us.
This is also very true. I feel like Finn's going to win.
It does say AJ Styles with the OC versus Finn Balor with Judgment Day, but I don't know if they've officially announced that the OC and Judgment Day are going to be coming out with them. So,
Okay. They just kind of like, that's their clique, that's our clique. Okay.
yeah, that's their group. So.
Because if the cliques are coming out, I definitely see... Like, I don't know. Do you just kind of end this now when AJ wins? Or does AJ kind of like suddenly get help from the OC, and then I don't know, like I'm thinking of a turn for some reason, but I'm like, this doesn't make sense when it's a one-on-one.
This is one of those that could go either way, and so I'm going to give two scenarios, right? Finn Balor versus AJ Styles, as it says on the tin, I think goes AJ Styles, but
Right.
they made reference, or at least not reference, very subtle hinting on Raw this week that when I'm in that ring, I'm a different person with Finn Balor, which makes me think that there's a chance that they're reviving the demon gimmick.
Oh, okay.
And so if it is Demon Finn Balor, then it goes the other way. I think Balor wins. But I think that's the point there. If it's Demon Finn Balor, Balor wins. If it's not, AJ Styles wins. That's my prediction.
Okay. I'll stick with AJ. Because I'm done with this feud.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it comes down to. I think either way, it's ending this feud.
Okay.
I think it's just either Judgment Day establishing that they're the big dogs on Raw with Demon Finn Balor,
right,
or AJ Styles. I don't know. Anyways, third match: Seth freaking Rollins versus Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory.
Like, I want no one to get this championship. Like, you know what I mean? Like, literally, these three men were the last three people to have it. I guess you maybe give it to Theory again, just because of what they are doing with him, and I freaking love this new Theory that we're getting. Didn't think it was possible to, after he got demolished that last week on or 2 weeks ago on Raw, but they done did it, and they made Theory look like kind of a force to be reckoned with, a totally new gimmick. He's an asshole now, and he's the man, and so on. I enjoy it. So yeah. I would like Theory to win, and then maybe we get a Theory versus Ziggles feud.
So I basically, we witnessed a remarkable series of what people would call burials of Theory since Triple H took over, right?
Right.
Lose. And I've said since the beginning that this is a tear him down to build him up situation.
I don't think you've said that.
I have. I have said it before. I can find the audio if you really want me to. That the whole concept, they were going to have him lose enough.
I mean, I'll do it. I'll do it if anything.
And then they were going to build him back up. I thought most likely it was going to end up being a mentorship, and I thought originally it was going to be Kevin Owens, because they played on that. That was one of the original things, was Kevin Owens saying, you've got so much potential, so much more, if you just stop relying on what people have given you and start taking it, right? Which is what this character is doing now. And they said that like 3 or 4 matches into the Triple H regime, right? This was all about tearing him down to rebuild him. Because the gimmick of him being Vince McMahon's chosen one and taking the selfies and all that stuff wasn't really working. And so, but you can't really just stop that gimmick. You have to give a reason for him to stop that, right?
Right.
Or take him off TV altogether. Well, obviously they had enough faith in him to keep him on TV. I mean, they've said, but even John Cena has said that they think he's the next John Cena.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yep. That he's got all the tools to be the next John Cena.
Damn.
And so that's where I knew this was a tear him down to build him up. This was a remove all the other stuff and then build him. I don't know if they've done enough rebuilding right now.
Right. Well, they might still be on that.
Yeah. And that's why.
Chapter.
So so that's why I'm not sure if I see him winning.
But I mean, even him as the champion, the way he is now, could still be them rebuilding him. You know what I mean? How is he now with success? How does he take it? Is he still angry, or is he a fighting champion? Does
I
he
think
look
what
towards
needs
getting
to
more?
happen is he costs himself the victory because he's too vicious. Now it's a triple threat. That means there's no disqualification, right? But there is the chance that you're being like, there's still countouts. There's still stuff like that.
There's not
right?
countouts. No. Not on a triple threat.
Threats, you can still be counted out in a triple threat.
There's no count out. There's no DQ. There's no count out.
Count out is not a DQ.
Still don't think there's count outs in triple threats.
There have been before, and it'd be all of them outside of the ring. If they're all outside of the ring, every single one of them outside of the ring for too long, they can all be counted out. They've done it before where someone has to roll back into the ring to keep the count going.
That's fair.
So it could be a situation where he's just outside just beating them senseless. And
To the point where he's not realizing anything
he's not
else
realizing
but his anger.
anything but his anger and all that stuff. I think Bobby Lashley. I think Lashley's going to regain the championship. He is going to pin Seth. I think this is going to take Seth out of the U.S. title and start to move him more towards the upper card so that they can set him up to be a challenger for whoever wins the title for Raw at WrestleMania. That's my thought. I don't know. I'm not super confident in it. I think Austin Theory is probably the smarter answer. I just don't think his character is ready yet.
Either way, I think we're both right in the sense that Seth is losing no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
He's losing it. He doesn't need it. And he's the easiest guy to get a loss from because it doesn't affect him just because of how over he is and his chicken shit heel gimmick just, completely works everything with that. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Moving on. First of the War Games matches, we'll do the women's. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Minchin Yim, and TBA versus Damage Control, which of course is Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. Important, a Damage Control won advantage, which means they will be the team that has their second person enter first, which gives them 2-on-1. And then their...
And it's 5 minutes or 2 minutes? It's 5 minutes, huh?
The rules can shift a little bit, but usually it's...
I think it's... Well, I think in NXT at least it was 5 minutes. Oh, 5 minutes seems too long.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay.
Yep. So they'll have advantage for 2 minutes, and then it'll even up, and then they'll have advantage for 2 minutes, and then it'll even up, and then they'll have advantage for 2 minutes, and then it'll even up, and then they'll have advantage, and then it'll even up for the final match, right?
Right.
And so, before they announced that they had advantage, I was thinking Damage Control was going to win. That the heels were going to win this match, right?
Right.
Now I think the faces are going to win.
Because of the advantage?
Because of the advantage. I think from a storyline standpoint, if they were going to have Damage Control win, it makes more sense for the faces to have the advantage and Damage Control just be more vicious, right? But because they have the advantage, now the storyline, in my eyes, the best storyline is the faces overcoming the adversity of this and winning. It also plays in a little bit on, I've got a long-standing theory that the go-home show tells you a lot about who is going to win. If they have a match of some sorts on the go-home show, the team that looks the strongest, or the person who looks the strongest on the go-home show, is going to lose, right? So in this case, Damage Control got the victory on the Go Home show.
Right.
Technically, they're still SmackDown, but none of these people are SmackDown players, so it's a Raw thing. So the Go Home,
Well, I mean, but still, they're gonna be there anyways to announce their fifth person.
they're gonna
so-
be, but my point is, it is still all of these players are Raw signed characters,
Right.
Typically. So, but so this was effectively the Go Home, and it ended with Damage Control standing tall after beating up all of the faces and winning advantage, right?
Right.
And so because of that, I think that this means the faces win. And probably because of who they bring in as that final character, right? If they announce it on Friday that it's going to be Bex,
Man, I think it's even going to be at the end. So everybody is in. They're like, oh no, we only have 4 people. They're obviously going to win. Da, 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 da. And then 2 minutes do go by. You just hear nothing. And then, whatever.
That's why I think the announce Liv Morgan or Dewdrop or whatever, and then have a storyline where they're beaten up backstage by the heels, so they can't make it to the match. And then the final person actually comes out, and it's Becky. I think that's the better storyline to not the better story, the better pop. That's the
Right.
way to make it surprise and all that stuff. Anyway, but so I think the faces win. What do you think?
I mean, I think at this rate, yeah, I think you're right. I think the faces are going to win just for the fact. I think you're not going to be getting a Bailey versus Bianca anymore. That's ship has kind of sailed, and no one's really looking forward to that. You maybe might be starting to get Bex versus Bailey for maybe Royal Rumble or something. And then maybe leading on to the title picture. I don't know. I feel like Bailey kind of got lost in the shuffle with her whole group leading of this Damage Control. Like, I don't know what it's giving them. Like, it gave them the tag titles, sure. But it still made Bailey look weak. I don't know. I don't see why Damage Control should win.
Yeah, like I
That
said,
match.
I think giving them the advantage to me just told the story that they're going to lose. Now
I mean, it doesn't always mean that, though.
they could lose in a way that still makes Bailey look really strong,
Right.
right? And then sets up a final blow off rematch. Listen, Bailey, I'll give you one last shot, but if you lose this, you never challenge for this belt again, or whatever. And then Bailey cheats to win and wins the belt, and then we don't see that again for a while. You know what I mean? Or something.
Right.
I think the only reason I'm not 100% confident in this is they really need to fucking give Damage Control some wins. Right?
Right.
They come in and they're supposed to be this big disruptive force that's and then they just get beat all the time. Anyways. Then the final match that we can talk about is the men's War Games, Brawling Brutes, which is Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch, with Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens, versus the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, and the Usos.
I mean, I don't see the Bloodline. I feel like the Brutes and KO do have to win in this, and I feel like Sami Zayn is going to cause some stir somehow. And maybe this is where we're going to kind of see or maybe not necessarily Sammy, but a Sammy J scenario happening where it causes them some sort of loss towards one of their men or even both of them. And KO and his crew there are going to eventually get the win. But there's got to be something here with Sammy breaking up either indirectly for now, the Bloodline, and that's slowly coming into play, I think.
I'm gonna go out on a wild conspiracy limb on this. Number one, I think we've had too many faces winning, especially if we do have the women win, the face women, that we can't
Okay.
have the face men win, right? But
In Triple H's era, you can.
But on top of that, and this is going to be, like I said, this is weird conspiracy brain sort of thing on me.
Okay.
You know the old story about the scorpion and the frog, or scorpion and the turtle, or whatever it's been, right? Where there's the scorpion and the frog, and they have to cross the river, and the frog's like, well, I can swim across. What are you gonna do? And the scorpion's like, put me on your back and I'll swim across, and then we both get to the other side. The frog's like, but you'll just sting me halfway through. And the scorpion's like, what? Don't be silly. I'm not going to sting you. If I sting you out in the middle, then we both drown and die.
Right.
And the frog's like, well, I don't know if I can trust you. And the scorpion's like, oh, you can trust me. I don't want to die, so I'm not going to sting you. And then they get halfway out, and the scorpion stings him. And the frog goes, what are you doing? Now we're both going to die. And the scorpion says, well, you knew I was a scorpion when you put me on your back.
Damn. Never heard of this. This must have been a U.S. thing.
Maybe it was. Look it up. It's a fable that comes from Europe, but the scorpion and the frog, I believe, is what it is. I think it's been multiple different things, but...
That's fair, yeah. I mean, I know the tortoise and the hare, but that's something a little bit different.
Scorpion and the frog. It's an animal fable. Where does it come from? Seems to have emerged from Russia in the early 20th century. So early 1900s.
Damn. What am I doing? I'm going to go back in my room.
Yeah, I couldn't resist my urge. It is my nature. I am the scorpion. You knew I was a scorpion when I... Anyways, so this long roundabout way for me to say Kevin Owens is a scorpion. His entire history on the WWE roster has been based around get somebody to trust me, and then I betray them. Because I'm
Right.
always the wild card. I'm always the bad guy, or always about me more than anything, right?
Right.
Also,
Do you think he's going to join the Bloodline?
I don't think he's going to join the Bloodline. You don't have to join the Bloodline to
help them?
help the Bloodline, right? More specifically,
I mean, you kinda do.
no, not
I
really.
mean, that's kind of oozy of you two, so...
It is kind of oozy, but no, here's the deal. It simply comes down to this. Who's Kevin Owens' best friend on the WWE roster?
The guy that's pretty oozy as it is, Sami Zayn.
Pretty oozy right now, isn't he?
He's
He's
oozalicious.
He's very oozy, right? And so that's the deal. I don't think he joins the Bloodline. I think he helps Sammy win. There's a difference, right? He's not on the Bloodline side. He's on Sammy's side. And Sammy's on the Bloodline side, so therefore, And because of this, the Brutes and Drew McIntyre are going to be, why? Why did you cost us this match? And he's going to be like, you knew I was Kevin Owens when you signed me, I mean,
Right.
I'm the guy who very famously had a festival of friendship with my best friend of all time and stunned him and turned on him there at the festival of friendship. I mean, how many times has Kevin Owens done that? Betrayed people, right? It's
Did it to Sammy when I think Sammy won his world title championship, and then bam, like that was fucking epic. Yeah. Like he's done this so many times, but every time he does it, it's still fucking amazing. It's still like it's like you're seeing it for the first time because that's the beauty about KO. He's just so convincing. You know what I mean? Like, now everybody's on his side. All the fans obviously love him. Just the pops he was getting when he came back was like, holy shit. These fans, like, we know they like KO, but this was like Roman Reigns pops. You know what I mean? Or like Steve Austin, The Rock pops. I was like,
if you look up Kevin Owens turns, what you get is Kevin Owens heel turn in 2021. Kevin Owens face turn in 2022. Kevin Owens turns a heel in 2021. Is Kevin Owens a face or a heel? Kevin Owens face turned confirmed. Kevin Owens officially turns babyface.
Right.
3 reasons why Kevin Owens' heel turn was necessary. Seth Rollins' hilarious response to Kevin Owens' heel turn. Right? It's just back and forth, back and forth. This is what he do.
Right.
And I think, I don't know. To me, it's just suspicious that he just shows up after being injured for so long and just suddenly is part of this as a face when that's not where he naturally sits on things. And to have him be across from his best friend on the roster.
Right.
So he's not an honorary Oos, but he's best friends with an honorary Oos, and he'll go to bat for that honorary Oos.
That's a fair point.
That's my thoughts. So I think the Bloodline wins because Kevin Owens turns on.
I think you've convinced me. Yeah, I think. I think I'm gonna go apply to. Oh no, DraftKings was only. Oh no, but DraftKings will also have the WWE stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, DraftKings love to play both sides of the fence. They're like, fuck.
They just don't
brand
give a
loyalty.
shit. Everyone loves gambling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fuck brand loyalty, right? You want
You
to
both
spend them dollar bills?
Yeah, both you asshats are gonna promote me and freaking love it.
Dollar bills, y'all. Anyway.
Dollar.
So that's the whole pay-per-view there. It's crazy to predict 5 matches and be the whole pay-per-view when we just talked about a pay-per-view that had 9 matches on the main card and 3 on the kickoff, right? 10 matches on the main card and 3 on the kickoff.
Yeah, I want to say even 11 technically, but yeah. I mean, you don't have to prove me wrong. Just, go with it. 10 or 11. That's
Somewhere
it.
between 9 and 11 on the main card.
There you go. That's it.
It's not worth me
It's not, no.
fucking
Forget
worrying
about
about
it.
it.
Somewhere between 9 and 11 compared to one that only has 5, maybe 6.
Maybe 6.
With
There's
an added
every
on
chance-
and then a pre-show, maybe
Yeah.
match, which I doubt because they never do it.
Not anymore. Like, let's give you 2 hours of fucking Pete Rosenberg talking.
First of all, it's an hour, but
Maybe it just feels like 2 hours when Pete Rosenberg's the one talking.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
So I do want to, because I just saw this come across my feed. It's about time for us to wrap things up, but I do want to really quickly. I just saw something pop up that I want to pull up and see.
Did you see Reggie show up on NXT, by the way?
I did not see, but I heard of him showing up. Him being revealed as the guy behind the mask that they've had the whole, like, him leaving voicemails. And I can't remember what his name was going to be, Shozy or something like that. Scripts. There we go. Scripts.
That's it.
And then it's fucking Reggie in a stupid mask. Here's the deal. Like I said, Reggie has always been impressive with his skills. And it makes sense because, again, this is true. He's a former circus act.
Right.
So he can do those flips. And by circus, I do mean Cirque du Soleil style circus, right? So he can do all that shit and everything. But I think that's going to come back and bite them. But, Toxic Attraction came out and attacked Kaden Carter and Katana Chance because they want those women's tag championships back. Cora Jade versus Wendy Chu, whatever. Kiana James versus Ivy Nile. I don't know Kiana James at all. Ivy Nile came over from NXT UK, I believe. Scripts versus Gurj Raj. Zoe Starks versus Sol Ruka. Zoe Starks is another one of those. Like, I watch her, I can see she's talented. She just does nothing for me. Like, I have no reason to get behind her. Don't care. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never catch NXT, to be honest with you. It's just I heard that come across my feed, and I was like, oh, well.
The thing I
at least
want to
they're
talk
doing
about is
something with
coming up
Reggie.
here in a second, but Pretty Deadly versus who are the tag champions versus Andre Chase and Duke Hudson, right? Then they had the NXT North American Championship match, Wesley versus Carmelo Hayes, right?
Right.
Wesley defeated Carmelo Hayes to retain, but then afterwards got there we go. Got surprised. An animation for a jail cell opening showed on stage screen. Lee turned around to see Dominic Dijak back.
Oh, shit. Oh,
Under
okay.
the name Dijak. Right. Not T-Bar anymore.
But it's Dominic Dijakovic or just
Yes,
Dijak?
it's I don't know if he just went by Dijak or not.
Okay.
I have to be honest with you. It came across my screen, and I'm trying to see if I can find
Oh, snap. That's some exciting news.
a picture to. Donovan Dijak appears behind him. Feast your eyes. Commentary called him Dijak, but I don't know if they called him.
Dijak makes return attack on Wesley.
Let's try Wrestling Observer, see if they've got screenshots at all. Not popped up screenshots. Let's try.
Nikita Lyons' gear was on point tonight as well. I'm sorry, Nikita Lyons. Eddie's hand incoming. Welcome, Dijak. Yeah,
They
I
might
mean,
have
I
just
guess
called
they're
him Dijak.
calling him
I don't know.
Dijak. Yeah, because I mean, everyone's not even saying the full name. So Max Dupree back to LA Knight. Now T-Bar back to Dijak. Was he just died? No, he was Dominic Dijakovic,
He was-
right?
Donovan Dijak there, or but okay. So he's Donovan Dijak. They called him Dominic Dijakovic. But now they're just calling him Dijak, which I'm hoping he's back to that because he's fucking awesome, and it was so sad to see them just waste him.
Yeah, no, he was definitely obviously utilized better on NXT than the shit they gave him on the main roster with the whole retribution crap there. So finally, good to see him back though. I'm excited to see what he does, and he's going after the North American Championship. Guessing he's gonna face him at what is it? Dead End?
Yeah, whatever the
Probably.
one they have that was gonna face.
Yeah, I
off
think it's the
directly
Dead
with-
End or something. That's going to face off with the ROH. Well, not even. The ROH one is going to be in the afternoon.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, every place I see is just calling him Dijak, so they might just be calling him Dijak, which is fine.
yeah. I mean, it's better than
Whatever's
T-Bar.
better than T-Bar.
Right.
Anyways, that's all I really want to talk about. Is fucking Dijak's back, and that makes
That's great. I didn't, I mean, oh, you know what? I think, yeah, because I saw that clip and I'm like, oh, who's that? And then I didn't click because I was on a call at work when I saw that and I didn't read anything else. And, yeah, okay, that makes complete sense why people were flipping the fuck out. Okay. That's awesome, though. At least he's back. Yeah, and they've been doing that with a lot of wrestlers recently. If you're not using them on the main card, they bring them back to NXT to at least give them a little something. Just because, yeah, why not? You're paying these people, and especially Dominic. You know, you can definitely do a lot with him.
Sorry, I'm watching it right now just to see. Yeah, they just called him Dijak.
Dijak, right? Yeah, I imagine that's why everyone was saying Dijak on Twitter and whatnot, because that's just what it is.
They have him.
Look at.
He's got a beard now, and they had him wearing sunglasses and a leather jacket.
Yeah, I think the beard is what threw me off.
It's Dijak. Anyways, so yay Dijak.
Yay, Dijak.
But on that note, we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up before I go off on a full ADHD tangent.
Let's do it.
And it's probably for the best that we close it up now. We one of the things that delayed us starting was we're experimenting with a new streaming service, not service, but streaming software platform. Yeah. And on the free version that we're experimenting with before we decide whether to actually spend money on it, you're limited to 2 hours for live stream, and we're at 1 hour 57 minutes and 46 seconds right now. So we better wrap things up, or else we're gonna get. Oh wait, no, we're not on that. We can do whatever we want. But on that note, we will go ahead and close the book on the Fantasy Booking Institute. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you use. But come to Twitch to watch us live, because that's where you get it right off the bat, because it's going to be delayed on every other platform, maybe by more than a day or two, because I sometimes forget to upload it on the other ones on time. Anyways, that's what happened. I got my Scott Hall shirt. I forgot to point this out, but my Scott Hall shirt.
Hey, that's also a really nice one.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about this shirt. But yeah, we follow us on the social medias and all of that stuff. Follow us and like and share and subscribe on Twitch. If you are a Prime member, you can subscribe to us for free and send a little bit of money our way to help us out. It's a great way to support us. But you can also follow us on the social medias. I'm on Twitch and Twitter and TikTok and Instagram at Raw and Order WBU, just like it shows on the screen right there. And on Facebook at Pissant Podcast, because Facebook is fucking weird, right?
This was your second time wearing that hat. What happened to your Pissant Podcast hat?
I haven't. I need to wash it, and because of that, I
fair.
need to get one of those stupid cage thingies to put on it before you wash your hat, so that they don't like deform and go all
crumple
crappy
and deform.
looking. Yeah. So instead, I'm wearing the Omahags hat.
I was like,
which
why
is
is he wearing the Chicago Bulls?
Nope, it's the Omahags, which is a fictional.
No, I figured it was
Omaha.
a Omaha team there, but
It's a fictional team. It doesn't actually exist. The Omaha AAA baseball team, which is normally the Omaha Storm Chasers, did a what if game where what if we were called the Omahags, and so they created the Omahags logo.
oh, nice.
And then they sold hats for it, and I didn't go to that game, so I picked this up on clearance later. Anyways, you can follow JLB at
Twitch.tv/JLBTLC25. I did a written review of the movie Spirited. I will be probably doing a little legit live review or recorded review, a podcast review on it. More specifically, I like to write my stuff first just so I can get everything down. And probably I will also probably be doing I don't know what I'll be doing, but I'll definitely be having that up for you, and most likely some more movie reviews coming your way. I did also watch Smile and a few other stuff, so feel free to check Real Talk Radio on all of the social platforms. Links will be down below in the doobly-doos, but until then, that is it. You can catch me streaming on twitch.tv/JLBTLC25, where hopefully you'll see me play AEW soon.
Yeah, here's hoping. They just need to get around to fucking announcing the time or the date for it.
Right?
Because I'm tired of fucking waiting. They keep coming out with these trailers.
As soon as I get a date, I'm fine with it. But until then, I'm not pre-ordering shit.
That's the deal. Is I hate pre-ordering it will eventually come out.
I mean, it is going to be cheaper. Like, it is only 50. For a Canadian, it's $59.99, which is crazy for us because usually for us it's like $79.99. So.
I just need a date. Like I say, I hate pre-ordering something that's nebulous. It'll come out eventually. Once you give me a date, I can pre-order and I'll be a happy camper. Anyways.
Right.
But on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you soon.
Deuces.